I'm Kumar Rakesh, and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today, we're going to discuss the why politics of opportunity. I'm not talking about political opportunism and self-interest. Why not are versus national interest? Why the political parties and political person always try to adopt the policy of self-interest? And this is I think, whether of political opportunism, you can say, the election in Bharat, and going to be held the 5 states from 10th of February, and result to be 10th of March. If you are talking about the political opportunism, that is a very big definition according to different theory, different style, how the political philosophy of Machiavelli described the prince is often regarded a classic manual of opportunist scheming, and the a Machiavellian is nowadays defined as a cunning, immoral, and opportunist person, especially a politician. How he defined? Why defined? The political opportunist interpreted different way, just like the political style of aiming to increase one's political influence at any price, or political style that involves seizing every and any opportunities to extend the political influence whenever such opportunity arises. Just you have seen how the political parties and political person they change the party, one party to another. Now, just in Bharat, just you are seeing the Samajwadi Party just going to the change the party, and BJP member going to the Samajwadi Party, and different parties, and vice versa. And Congress today, the Congress leader RPN Singh, the former minister, also 32 years spent in Congress, just shifted to BJP, and just praise that is not original Congress now. Whatever I worked 32 years ago, the political characters have changed. So the practice of abandoning or compromising the reality, some important political principles that previously held, and the process of trying to increase one's political power and influence, a trend of thought, how just political opportunity defined, or a political tendency seeking to make the political capital out of situation, with the main aim being that of gaining more influence, prestige, or support, instead of truly winning people over to a principal position or improving their political understanding. And believing there is a much more work at behind the scenes of combining the alliances, making of pacts, and signing of agreements for a cause, or having experiences suffering a political cause without real political positions or belief being revealed in the process, or without the critic. So this is political behavior. Just typically, if you discuss the opportunist political behavior, is criticized for being short-sighted and narrow-minded. Somebody say, somebody agree or not agree, and that is us to make the short-term political gain or preserve them. Somebody thinks long-term. You see the history in Bharat, the any political party, either BJP or either Congress and the left and others, the regional parties, somebody came and stayed there. Many leaders, as I know, and now in BJP, more than 100 leaders, male leaders and member of parliaments, just came from the Congress to join BJP. And they are now still 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. They changed total political behaviors, culture, and adopted themselves in the party, just mixed with the thoughts. Somebody came, stay, and gone, like Sudhir Kulkarni, like the thankless and shameless people. Stay, came in the political, just to enjoy the political power, and all power during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee regime. Advisor to the Prime Minister, 14 years in the party, uses all things and left. Now, our Chandan Mitra, our senior colleague, senior journalist, Shivaji will just with us, will talk about them here. Two times Rajya Sabha member, live in party, enjoyed all things, and at last, before just going to heaven, they left to for the TMC. So, so many examples we have. So, how the strategic alliances and the agility in ignorance. So, we are going to discuss now the political opportunities meant for self-interest, for national interest, and it started from the Professor Shivaji Sarkar. And we have just 35 minutes time. So, we also discipline time ourselves, 3 to 4 minutes each. So, we all cover the all. Thank you. Shivaji Sarkar.
Yeah. No, Rakesh and my fellow panelists, You see, I consider this election time to be like that football players' intervals when they change the teams. Those who pay the best, they join that team. Earlier, there used to be also, not that very new, something new is happening today with the BJP. The Congress used to also do the same thing. BJP has adopted that. So there is nothing very new in it. Third thing, you can say it is a part of the extension of the corporate culture. As the corporates launch new establishments, and they bring people from other companies to give their company an edge. So that's happening. There's nothing very unusual in it. But let us come down to the very brass tack, that sparked this debate today. Why RPN Singh has come to BJP after he himself is spending 32 years and his father is spending many more decades in the Congress and was very close to Mrs. Gandhi, Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
As well as Rahul Gandhi also. He was a good coterie of
No,
the Rahul Gandhi. Yeah.
Rahul Gandhi is RPN was. RPN has
Yeah.
been with close to RPN, but his father was very close to Indira Gandhi.
Yeah. That time. Sir CPN Singh.
So let us come down to why suddenly he has done this. Now you see, one thing I see that at least Congress is making noises. I don't know they will get seats or how many seats they will gain, but they're making noises now. So to say that he has left because the Congress has become totally irrelevant, that also I think is
You
not
see,
exactly
see
correct.
the message. See the message on the screen. Just a message in Hindi. Yeah, yesterday he was in Congress and today he is BJP. यह मेरे लिए एक नई शुरुआत है. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, भाजपा के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जेपी नड्डा जी और माननीय गृह मंत्री श्री अमित शाह जी के दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व और मार्गदर्शन में राष्ट्र निर्माण में अपने अपने योगदान के लिए तत्पर हुई है. ट्वीट लाइक दैट. ओके,
Right.
प्लीज
That's
कैरी
it.
ऑन.
मैं उसी पे बात कर रहा हूँ.
जी.
Now you see the difference between Nehruvian times, the politics of those days and now. Those days, politics were extremely, really, at least wedded to, if not say ideology, but the basic roots that they were there. And there used to be ideology. The people used to take pride in the ideology, the association, and everything. Now, that is exactly not the issue anymore. Because ideologically, no political party is different. Now, if we take the left parties, they are as rightist as the rightist parties are.
Okay, just I'll come to you again. Vandana ji, just Professor Shivai Sarkar say all party are same. Do you think BJP is also like the same? And from I have not seen any person just to join the left party. Left from the left party, they join the right party and other parties and Congress. But I have not seen it. Whoever is the left party, they are. Rarely they left the parties. That's the reason, the cadre-based party. But from BJP, many will come and go due to their culture and new culture and the power culture, it may be. How do you analyze, Vandanaji?
But just one very small line, one liner,
Please, please,
Dhananjay
please,
says, you
please.
see, the decimation of the left is also for that reason. They could not expand beyond themselves. Now
That
in
is different
Indian
issue.
politics, you have to
Shivaji,
expand yourself.
that is
Please
different
carry
issue.
on.
Theoretical matter, just I want to, Vandanaji.
Namaskar, and to all of you as well as to our viewers. Interesting subject when we always talked about jumping ships and their repercussions. It is the time now for the people to awake. Let's talk first about the left. Left is left only when they are outside. When you see them within inside their home, they're all right. That is the biggest hypocrisy. They live very luxurious
Nicely
life.
said.
Huh?
When you come inside, they become the right.
Yeah, because when you see their
For the sake
own,
of power. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
for display, they show that they are left. If you
Okay.
see from the left perspective, their own personal life, their own kids, they are very well settled in the Western world. They are enjoying, but in front of people, they are holding the jhola, wearing the bata slippers. and wearing like as if they don't have anything. So that's an hypocrisy, number one.
No, that
Coming,
now in Bharat culture has been changed for the kind information. So Sitaram Yechuri and Prakash Karat and Brinda is not like that. Yeah,
okay, I'm talking in general.
please,
Okay.
please.
So, from the BJP, we have been seeing it over a period of time. Politics has become a carrier for a lot of people. It is not like when we talk about politics that you are for the people, by the people to serve. What is the position of an elected official? That you should be there. This should not be a carrier, seasoned politician. You will be surprised, as 2 days before, when we were celebrating the 73rd Republic Day of India, we do have one congressman here, and everybody was uh, gaga on it. And he is from Illinois district. So they say, oh, this congressman is there from last 37 years and still going. I mean, like, why can't, and the same things are there also. For you, for me, for any person who's working, there is a limit of in a career also, that you retire after a while. I always say wisdom should never retire, but they should come on the advisory role, but not on the executive roles, like, so that. And then coming to your last part of the question, that the people that you are seeing coming to BJP, we just saw what happened in West Bengal in the month of May before the elections. And everybody was like, ga, 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 ga. Oh, this person of TMC, because every day the source of the news, like the channels were, this person joined BJP, this person joined BJP, because they were thinking that there is a wave which has been coming. So ye तरेंगे तो इसके साथ में हमारा भी तारन हो जाएगा. Was it a strategy which was planted and molded by TMC? Just show that, and then now we saw that most of them gone back to TMC. And another thing, which is very, very important, even for the largest political party, the way BJP claims themselves to be the world's largest political party, that the responsibility that they have, in case if we are in the queue, I come from that lineage. Shivaji Sarkar is my senior, so is Alok Ladji and Rakesh ji. Vandana ji comes from the left and decides tomorrow, like that, I want to be within you. So I should be not number one ahead of Shivaji. I should be put out of after these three in the queue. So then the moral of these three should be intacted. We saw that in Delhi politics, what has happened. So the loyalty should be paid and rewarded, not like that you just see, because ye to Hawaii parinde hai, we never know that if we'll see they can move in there, because the ideology that somebody has lived with for a period of time, overnight it cannot change the transformation. So you should keep them, means like you should let them in the door, but not give them the first seats on the benches. That is my call. You should wait and watch, let them deliver, and then offer them. It should not that he was so and so in that party, now he has joined, he was a cabinet minister, let me give him a member of parliament seat. What happened to Shivaji Sarkar? He has been there for the party for
So
so many years.
Vandana, it just happened what you are saying in West Bengal election. The BJP left the old captains.
We saw that. That's what I said.
All
Delhi happened.
cadres of the BJP, and
Yeah.
whatever the result of the BJP now in West Bengal.
Yeah.
So Rakesh Tiwari ji, just
You
now.
lose the faith, you lose the confidence of your own people. What will happen to these three? If you are,
Yeah.
means we saw
Yeah.
that in Delhi, we saw that in West Bengal. That should not happen. Thank you.
Alok ji, just a special comment from you, then I'll take Rakesh Tiwari ji. Vandana ji made a comment. Left is only left when they are not in the right, inside. When he came the inside the power, they become right. Number one, how do you react and how do you just
No,
see that?
not in power. I said portraying, not in power. I'm saying. You
No,
took me wrong.
I'm trying to connect with the Congress, how they come in power, just for the sake of power. I'm
Oh,
just
Congress can never be on the right side. Sorry to say that.
No, no,
This
no,
is
no,
not the real
no, no, no.
Congress.
No, I am telling you different way. I am just whatever you just shared. I am asking the game power game of the left parties. When you just came with the Congress, they are part of the power game. That's why we can say the right way. How I interpreted your whatever inputs like this. So how just to define the politics of left? Do you think any political opportunities, I think metals of the, yeah, any inputs, any ingredients of the political opportunity you find the left party is one, and another just for the sake of power, the lust they are safe to each other. Why and what for? They're not for the, why not for the national interest?
Good evening, Kumar, Rakeshji, and fellow panelists and our viewers. I mean, when Vannaji is speaking about, that left, they're just kind of showing what she means is that, the way they dress up and the way they come in the public and try to show that they are poor people or whatever, or they identify themselves with the working class, but in the real life, all their kids are studying in United States of America and stuff like this. This is what she's referring to, and I think she's got a point there. And the people I know, this is true for them. But I have to give this to the left parties that that political opportunism, in spite of the fact that a guy like Kanhaiya Kumar has shifted over to Congress, or in the other days, certain things could have happened. So there are personal ambitions, and you are not so much linked to the ideology. And I think the left, the comrades, they are very much linked to the ideology. This is a fact. I mean, they are as disciplined probably as the BJP guys are. And left people are quite open. The only problem with them is that if you leave the left parties and join something else, then you become a pariah for them. That is also true. But when we're talking about the lifestyle and everything, I think Vannaji there, she's right that this is happening. And as far as the political opportunism is concerned, and I think she's right that in case somebody comes in from a different party, it obviously means that he does not have that ideological stand. It cannot happen overnight. It cannot be that your, grandfather and your father and your, you were in the Indian National Congress and suddenly you become, from a secular to a Hindu nationalist. This cannot happen overnight, or nobody's going to the left parties. I mean, I have yet to see anybody from BJP or from Congress or from any other party go to the left parties. They have their own cadre and they work it. But they also have their internal politics and they have their power struggles inside the wing, which is the West Bengal CPI is different from the Kerala CPI, and they have their own muscle power inside also, and the Politburo and everything. That is there, but they are disciplined. Like I think the BJP guys, they are quite disciplined. So we have to give it to them. Thank you so much.
Okay, Tiwari ji, Tiwari, are you here? Unmute yourself, please. Unmute, please.
Okay, I did. Please.
Now your eye just looks like closing.
No. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Sir, open your eyes, please, sir.
My eyes are open, wide open. Tell me.
Okay. Now looks open. I think that your eye was closing now, actually. So,
Well,
okay.
no, I'm not dozing off. Please continue. Ask the question.
Sir, so my question
Should I continue?
Yeah, please. Just can you give any reference of the political opportunities in Canada, and just you have came across an experience when you're in the journalism and the reporting, and some parties shifted to each other, the conservative and liberal, like that. So there is any incident in Canada? Just have you any experiences?
Yeah, well, let me say this. As a very rarely, I remember one famous named Belinda Stronach. She was a businesswoman, and she used to be with Stephen Harper. And afterwards, she shifted. She went to liberals. So this is very, very rarely happens. Instead, the politicians in Canada, when they're not satisfied, that they're not happy with their own party, they do retire, they go out of politics. But it does happen once in a while. You can say rarely, but that political leader goes to another political party, because most of the parties, they do miss when they are hiring, when they are getting their political leaders and from the grassroots level. And that's the strength of democracy in Canada. So when you have to start every political party, you cannot be nominated if some people, when they get nominated, there's a lot who happens, and this practice doesn't go always. So yes, some examples, rare examples are there. Now coming back to the discussion, when we're talking about RPN Singh, let me say this is if I remember exactly, the Dal Badal Vidhayak, brought by Rajiv Gandhi at that time, and just to crossing, because at that time it used to happen that during their term, political leaders used to cross, or members of parliament or members of legislative assembly cross from one to another party, and that was becoming serious issue. And then Dal Badal Vidhek law came. But we can see that as the criminals, you can say, I'm giving the example, that as the technology improves and a lot of things improve, so does I'm giving a metaphor example towards it. And then the thieves or the criminals, they improve themselves too, and they find those loopholes to break the laws and go from one to another side. Same way politicians, they have for themselves, they found the loopholes, so they know how to break this rule and come and do that. That same thing happened. We can see that in so many states, including MP Madhya Pradesh, where Jyotiraditya Scindia did the flip flop. His MLAs, resigned, and afterwards Shivraj Singh Chauhan came into power. So I will say BJP, this is the Congressy Karan, a Congressization of BJP, and that is means BJP is going in the same line and length, and because they want to gain the power, they want to keep the power within themselves, so they are doing the as much horse trading as the Congress used to do that. And this is my understanding, and that's sad, because in my understanding, BJP's ideology is based on RSS.
Tiwari,
Yes.
and in
Yeah.
concurrent case, there is no case of the horse trading now. Actually, horse trading word you used in the in the parliament and assembly election, when the
So
aim in mass they
let,
just
let me say this horse trading, what I mean.
no, with allurement and with all, they invite the local concern.
What the allurement is there that the RPN Singh, tell me please, if RPN Singh has switched at this time in the election, he will not get, can anybody who's here, that any RPN Singh, when he switched his loyalty, or any other political leaders giving the BJP's background recent 5 years history, that these all the politicians coming from Congress or TMC anywhere, and even now they have, when they change their loyalty towards the BJP and they didn't get benefited, we know that that's why they come, that they will get the ticket, afterwards they will become the minister, or some way, this way, that way. Okay, I'm not talking about horse trading means getting always the cash, but yes, behind that every political leader. So that's why I in my humble understanding, public and people at large stopped believing in political leaders. Means Neta word became a gali, an abusive word. If you call me Neta, I will take great offense towards it. Means great respect to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Now we talk about it, means when we talk about in recent days, it's just shameful to use the Netaji for person like Mulayam Singh Yadav. Let me say this. So honestly, is a sad, is a worrisome for me, because I love Bharat, okay, and we respect Bharat, but this trend which is happening right now, and no political party, I totally agree with my fellow panelists, Alok ji, Vandana ji, Shiva ji, and I say this is a danger. This is because once the people start and people are losing their faith in the system. In BJP, I was having that this is the party with the difference.
sir, you are talking the peoples are losing the faith in system.
Yes, I was having the faith in BJP that it will not do that. Yeah.
Shivaji, time of the break, and after break we'll take just from you also and Shivaji, give just how people are really losing the faith in that politician and the democracy, or they are going to be same pattern whatever the current politicians trying to adopt the political opportunity for the self-interest.
We'll also discuss Padrona.
Yeah, no problem. Take the break, and after break we'll come again.
दारू शारू रखा करो, ब्रेक ही ब्रेक करते रहते हो.
क्या हुआ? Welcome after break. Just Professor Chai Sarkar, just you have seen all the political happening last more than 45 years in Indian politics and Bharat, and just covered so many political reporting also. Just you're talking Padrona. Padrona is not a so international issue, but RPN Singh is a senior leader, 32 years already spent, is a generation, two generation already were in Congress. So we can't say only 32 years, more than 60 years. The old family of Congress joined today in BJP. So we can understand the why the Congress is going to the break part by part, and nut by nut, and volt by volt, and section by section. And if you see the analyzed situation, 2020, Jyotiraj Scindia came in BJP. 2021, Jitin Prasad came in BJP. 2022, RPN Singh came. All are the just close coterie of the Rahul Gandhi and the Congress president. So how and why it happening?
Let us understand why it is happening in the Congress. There is one thing in the Congress. The leaders, the topmost leaders, and even those who are very close to Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka, they also have a complaint. And perhaps rightly so. They can't see their leader. They can't talk to their leader. They have to wait the long appointment list to meet the leader. This is causing a kind of a desperation within the Congress. This is the problem of the Congress. Despite the fact they are making some noises in UP, but this has become a problem. Now, the issue is RPN Singh, who has come today. Why he has come? Because in his area, Congress is yet to get any kind of recognition or rehabilitation of the Congress in that area is still not being seen. So he need to have, as a politician, survive. Where does he go? He can't leave his basic, that is from where he belongs, that Padrona and that area, that is his family down. He can't shift from there easily, and that has become very difficult. So as a politician, he has to survive first. So what does he do? Either he perishes with the Congress, or he looks for an opportunity. So he looks for an opportunity, and BJP is very happy to have him, because BJP also has a problem there. The problem of BJP is, after the exit of Swami Prasad Maurya
and others, Dara Singh Chauhan also, and 14.
Yes, all others, especially from that area. Now BJP doesn't have a replacement for Swami Prasad Maurya. BJP doesn't have one who can really match with Swami Prasad Maurya. This is one of the biggest problem BJP had. So they thought they must import RPN Singh. And since RPN Singh is rooted in the area, even if he gets the ticket for this assembly elections, he's given ticket after 2 years for the Lok Sabha election, that is a different issue. Possibly his influence would save the face of the BJP. This is the basic concern of the political party also. You see. Political party has to survive. It has to get a seat. It is the winning getting situation. So if it doesn't get it, they will not be in power. And Padrona alone doesn't hold the key. See, Padrona alone is not important. It holds the key to many other seats in the region. So they need someone, and RPN Singh, they found was the best way. RPN also needed it. So the RPN also jumped the ship. So It is a kind of, you see, opportunism is from both the sides. It is just not from the person who has shifted to the
No, no,
political
sir. No,
party.
no, no.
Political party also. Just a
You may
minute,
be
please.
right. Yeah, please, please.
Please, just a minute.
No,
Now
I'm
the
adding
kind
a
of
fact. The use of addressing not for the just for the party, just to break the Congress and government in Jharkhand also.
no, no, those are the things. No, now you see, no, no, what you have said. Just I will extend it
He is in charge of
slightly.
Jharkhand. He was in
No,
charge
no,
of
slightly
Jharkhand
farther.
Congress.
No, no, I will take it to slightly farther, where the elections will be held after possibly after this winter. That is Kashmir. And Kashmir, one leader of the Congress, and a very popular leader that way, I would say, and a very
Ghulam Nabi Azad.
accomplished leader, he has been given Padma Vibhushan today,
Bhushan,
definitely for
Padma
some
Bhushan,
gain.
Padma Bhushan, Ghulam
So
Nabi Azad.
Padma Bhushan, yeah, that is I'm saying Padma Award he has been given. So you
Hmm.
see, the politics is an opportunism for the
And
political
Joseph
party as well
Bhattacharya,
as
the
the
left leader, they were
political
also
leaders. Now,
awarded to the Padma
how
Bhushan. Yeah,
how the caste combinations and all other combinations,
yeah.
religious communities, how they can be adopted to suit the political needs, that is the concern of both. And that is what we are seeing now. And in this process, the
Yeah.
loss of the democracy is that the basic ideals, either economic or political, is being lost. So people do not today have really a chance to see where they would go. People are really in a quandary
But
whether
like
they vote for
one
SP.
important question. One important question, Shivaji. I'll just come to you, Vandana ji. Just Rakesh Tiwari ji raised, the BJP has become the more than Congress. I'm not saying they are Congressikaran and a Congresization,
But
but
I use the word Congressization of the BJP.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. So, do you think, Vandana ji, the BJP is like that and become like the Congress?
I somewhat not going to agree, but for the sake of convenience, because what we are seeing the recent trend, because it is as the previous speaker Sarkarji was saying about the convenience part of it, like for both. So why are they not set with their, because this has to come from top, to be honest, because when we talk, because I've been living in this country for almost 3 decades now. I don't see, like, in my 3 decades of career here, that anybody going from Democrat to Republican, Republican to Democrat. I mean, like, this is a biggest
Okay,
joke.
okay.
I mean, like, you can imagine, we follow in Bharat, we see it, but sometimes it looks like a mockery. If, I means, like, with whom lineage, like, you will, I just said that you can get them inside the door, but they should be backbencher. They should not be sitting on the front row. So if you
Okay.
True.
really want to build the party, but that is not happening in BJP, to be very honest. And they are right now in the dictating terms, but are they dictating it? No, they are not. So it is a convenience that they are seeing. Okay, means, like, membership increasing, that we have this, and rejoicing it, to be honest, celebrating. When we talk about this particular case that we are discussing, like, this is not the only topic that we discuss, RP and Singh, because if you see that he has objected many times to Priyanka as well as to Rahul not to talk in a tone that they talk about the sitting Prime Minister of India. He has objected many times, and that's on record. It is not yesterday, it has been there before. He said it does not look decent. So then you just see that, because there are people, those who are in that party called Congress, for the reason that they've been there, because it has been a lineage, but BJP was not even there at that very time. But for them, the nation has some importance. I'm not going to say overview, because otherwise they would have shipped, because nation comes first. If this party is any party, but in the Congress, that is not even happening. I don't know which nation is important for Congress when we talk about, and I always say we do need to have a very strong, healthy opposition which can keep a check and balances on the any ruling government, and that is the strength of a democracy, which is not prevalent right now in Bharat. What happens? The main agenda is, let's remove Modi. Who's with me? All these jokers, they stand hand. Me too, me too, me too. That is the biggest movement. And then you see all these Jamaat, which makes like you are laughing. I have seen it because earlier their face was Chandrababu Naidu. This time they are thinking to have that Chappalwali Mata, that from West Bengal. What's her name?
Mamta Banerjee.
नाम में ममता है, काम में तो कुछ भी नहीं है. So that is what which is
She is a very popular leader. Yeah, she is rooted to the ground. We can have our reservations about her or like or dislike. That's a different issue.
Absolutely. Agree.
I am not saying rooted or not. I have visited that place. I was there in 2019 and I have seen it, because in the name of a democracy, that is a sham. It is more of a dictatorship, to be very honest.
That is
reality. Go to Telangana, it is like that here. All regional parties in this country, wherever they are in government or not, they are behaving like despots. Whether it is Tamil Nadu, whether it is Kerala, whether it is Karnataka,
Alok, do you agree? What is
whether it is
saying?
MP or UP?
All the single party, regional party, only for projecting themselves, not the protecting the people.
No, the problem is another there. See, earlier the regional political parties used to be very
it's very clear that
now they rooted in the family. Whether it is Telangana, whether it is Andhra, whether it is Tamil Nadu, they're all family parties. So this is another problem that I see in the Indian country. You see, I also don't agree exactly with the comment of Vandana ji on Congress. You see, whatever it is, Congress, despite its lots of flaws and everything, Congress still remains a nationalist party, but it is one of the most weakest party. That is the problem. So the ideology or anything that it has inherited, and it has inherent in it, that is not being seen.
Okay.
And I'm sorry about that.
How Shivaji is saying, what the single party, regional party, only projecting themselves, not the protecting the interest of the people. That's why that's a condition of the state.
Their families
well known. Yeah. Why and
Well, I'm going to agree. Let me say this. I'm totally going to agree with Shivaji, and Vandanaji is here. Reluctantly, she said, well, but she agreed with me in that way that the current political trend which is happening in the BJP, I will respect still Atal Bihari Vajpayee is losing the power for one vote, one MP. He could have bought it anyway, but he declared, he said that, and we have to respect that. But the current dispensation, of course, Modi ji and Amit Shah, whosoever they are. Miss, I will say that while I'm in India, and so not India, India, I will say that in India, why I'm using the word India in that way, because that's what is happening. In a Bharatiya current, it doesn't happen, which was the last symbol, as I given the example of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, because still you are holding some morality in the political system. But at this time, Miss BJP is in the power. They have right, Miss, and I am going to totally agreeing with fellow panelists that, and including you, that if somebody is coming and they are changing their political philosophy and their loyalty coming to BJP, let them start from the grassroots. Let them understand that what BJP stands for it. But till yesterday, before the election, you are all drawing to Sonia and Rahul and Congress, and we believe in this, and every day you are cursing BJP. Now today you have the change of heart and you become, and then tomorrow, once God forbid something happens, and then they will switch back again to Congress. As we know that the same thing happened in West Bengal at that time. So this is, and when BJP is doing, and let me say this, is a saddens me, because it's the same political culture as Congress was doing it.
In the today case,
BJP
is not doing.
What happened in MP? In MP,
BJP
I'm not able to get it. Can you repeat it?
Was meant to defect to the BJP and make a BJP government there. So where is the political ideology? It's political opportunism.
Shivaji, we're diverting the issue actually. Tiwari ji already say what a BJP is doing. If today case we are discussing concurrent issue, how Darpan Singh joined BJP, this is a interest of the uh, previous Congress leader RPN Singh going to join the BJP government. Vandana ji, there are four terminology. I'll ask Shivaji and Vandana ji and Tiwari ji also. Just why the political opportunity for the opportunity specific political methodology.
I just wanted to conclude this. Kumar Rakesh ji, I just wanted to conclude.
I'm coming to you and adding you whatever you are just trying to share. So methodology applied to maintain the increased political.
So that is weakening the democracy in India, in Bharat. This thing which is happening.
Sir. It is your theoretical aspect and ideological aspect, but reality is, I'll just ask Shivaji Sarkar, really weakening the democracy or strengthening the democracy?
It is, sir, weakening. Well, I have a point here.
Well, sir, let me take it up.
Sir, no, let the answer from Badanaji, then I'll take the Shivaji last.
You first take my name, that's why I jumped in.
This type of political opportunities or just the self-interest based on politics weakening the democracy. Do you agree on the real term and practical term? Unmute, Vandanaji, unmute yourself.
You cannot call it as a weakening of democracy, to be honest. That's not the right terminology. It is a democracy, then only they are been able to do it. Today they are in this board, tomorrow they are in that board.
We can see the vibrant democracy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Vandanaji, would you allow that in USA? Is that happen? And you were just praising that? Republicans and Democrats, this is a mockery of democracy.
5 years live in India, sir.
Rakesh ji, let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
please.
use the word that is not democracy. I'm just saying that because being democracy, they've been able to do that from here to here. This is not dictatorship. I'm just coming to that. Let me just complete, because we are talking the same thing, but in the context is different. Let me just, because he asked me, is this weakening the democracy? I said, no, it's not, because had this not been a democratic process, then you would not been able to. It's the same thing. I have to go to Bharat. I can take this airlines. Oh no, I didn't like it. I can take that airlines. Like, okay. So being a politician, like, this is, but then.
I'm sorry, very weak argument.
Hold on. Let me
finish. Politics and buying the tickets for the airplane and bus or anything cannot be same.
Let me finish.
Gee.
It is the responsibility of the people, those who are voting for them. It is
absolutely, I agree with that.
It is their responsibility. Let me.
So who is the pillar of democracy? Who is the pillars of democracy? Is the people, public.
Yeah. Then comes your media. When they start portraying, because then media has to have these kind of discussions to bring it like what we are doing it, to bring it to because they conclude their role.
Yeah.
Rakesh Tiwari ji, listen to this. They conclude their role about just talking. Oh, this person has joined. Do they give time for discussion should it happen? Let's go the way we are doing it. That is what I'm talking about.
Makes sense.
Last thing.
Yeah.
Well, let me say in this. Okay, if you're saying my last say is this. I firmly believe that buying this is a weakening of democracy because when we talk. Let me just.
Then I think you can sum it up much better. Just please for a while.
Tiwari, you see your views, and on your views, I'll take the reaction of Shivaji. Yeah,
please.
Yeah, Shivaji sir. Let me just last point, then you take it on.
No, please listen to me once, because that point has not been discussed at all. You see, I would slightly disagree with Vandana ji that it is not weakening the democracy. It is weakening the democracy in many ways, because now the political parties themselves are not calling the shots. That is what used to happen earlier.
But
who is calling the shot?
Shivaji, but who is the pillar of the democracy? Who votes them?
That is what I am coming to. Please, Rakesh, let me speak out.
Please.
Now there has been one thing, and that is really dangerous for democracy. Especially it has happened during the past about, you can say, less than 2 decades.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is corporatization of politics. Now
Yes.
the corporates are the real political parties. They're playing, making all the noises from behind. They're manipulating. We know, we have seen a government in UP. From a chief minister, we know what kind of relationship he had
Just
with
last 1
some
minute. Yeah.
Bombay House. So this is happening almost everywhere in different ways. The political
Well,
now this is just please, this opportunism is linked to there. Now the political party wants to be in power because why? It is not only the ambition of the political party. It is the corporates who are associated with those political parties who want to be in power, and they are calling the shots. They have a research wing who are directing the political parties how to bring in who so that their business can go on.
well, thank you, Shivaji Samanji. Yeah.
This is the real.
Something.
Let me say this. Let me say this. I totally fully agree with Shivaji, and we should, as intellectuals and being from media person, we should be really worried about it, because again, as I said, I'm really worried for it, because it is weakening democracy. And when you ask the question that who is this pillar, the pillar of the democracy, we know what is pillar. Okay, we know
Sir, one question. One
That
thing
is also being made to crumble. My case all being monopolized by these houses.
Tiwari and Shivaji. There is a paper of the Northwestern University, one professor in Jane Breeze. What he wrote, I'm just telling you 4 lines. In political science, a theory of adversary democracy based on conflict and self-interest has been evolving since the 17th century, when the national choice school is the second half of 20th century made explicit.
Sir, why this doesn't happen in Britain? Why this doesn't happen in Canada? Why this doesn't happen in USA? Why only happening in India?
It is very much in US.
I'm telling you.
It is very much
Let
happening
me
in
answer.
US. And
Tiwari, let me
US
answer.
people are
Let me
concerned
answer.
because it is happening in very intense
No,
way since the
let me
60s.
answer.
Where it going, sir? Where is the political ideology?
Sir, political
Yes, till yesterday, you were cursing the RSS and BJP for Gandhi's sake. Okay, RSS and BJP, they killed Gandhi and Godse and this and that. Today, you just had the change of heart. Are you trying to convince me?
Sir, time is limited. Time wasn't left.
So this is a political opportunity, and this is a worst kind of it, because I don't think in a mature political countries this happens, and India, when it claims
I will
itself.
give you example of many countries. So, sir, you not. You
Sir, sir, then the democracy today or tomorrow, if continues, is going to collapse. Let me say this.
Sir, IT system is not going to collapse for your.
Why are you trying to defend, sir? Why are you trying to defend, sir?
I'm talking the facts.
You remember RPN Singh? He was a great Rajya Mantri, State Home Minister. What he used to say about the BJP and Congress? What are we talking about? We laugh. Sir, this is so. That's why I said this is weakening the democracy. Political opportunities. Okay, sorry.
Badanaji, something to add? Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about when he talked about the corporatization. Agree to it. It is everywhere. It's not only in Bharat. But the funding, you need to have funds to run for an office. We all know that. But the way the system works in the United States of America, it is absolutely different. And that is, how do we raise the funds? Like it's a cloud funding, you're asking, and a congressman.
Canada and America lobbying is okay, but in India lobbying is not legal.
Now this comes on a individual funding, that if I want to run for an office, I have to raise my own funds. There is no support from the party funding, to be very honest.
Systematically, it is not legalized also. Whatever we are saying in India,
because if I'm paying $10 to a congressman, like just a very petty amount, that will also be given me a receipt. I'm being honest. So up to a certain extent, that you don't have to report, but otherwise, and these are not tax deductible. Like, political contributions are not.
I think I'm going to take a leave, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
okay. Go down. Just 1 minute. Going to be just finished now. So okay. Just what we have discussed about the political opportunism and how does just self-interest that should not be there for the ethically and for the real sense of political theory and maintain. But in practical, what is going on? This is a global concern, not for the India. I'm not defending the India. What is happening should not be. But when one party to another, anybody shift, that is really a political shame. This is a political opportunism. This is for only for vested interest, not for the national interest. Whatever you were trying to discuss and convey to our viewers, and just what you're trying to discuss, and what is weakening the democracy and strong the democracy, that is either way. That is also concern for the people who voted, the person concerned who came from the other party, why they voted and what for voted, why should they voted. That is also a matter of concern for the every people. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.